Valentine's Day, a time for romance and celebration of love, is not without its dark side. Beyond the heart-shaped chocolates and bouquets of roses lies a realm of chilling encounters and unsettling experiences that defy the traditional notions of romance. Here, we unveil 3 bone-chilling true stories of horror that unfolded on Valentine's Day, turning what should have been a day of love into a nightmare of terror. Today we will talk about 3 scary true Valentine's Day horror stories. So before we start, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. 1. The Stalker's Obsession. For Emily, Valentine's Day had always been a day filled with anticipation and excitement, a chance to celebrate love with her long-term boyfriend, Adam. But this year, her joy turned to fear when she began receiving a series of mysterious gifts from an unknown sender. At first, the gifts seemed harmless enough. A bouquet of red roses, a box of chocolates, a handwritten love letter professing undying affection. But as the days passed, the gifts became increasingly sinister, with notes that grew more possessive and threatening with each passing day. Terrified and unsure of who could be behind the unwanted attention, Emily turned to the authorities for help. But despite their best efforts, the stalker remained elusive, their identity shrouded in mystery and their intentions growing more sinister with each passing day. As Valentine's Day approached, Emily found herself paralyzed with fear, unable to shake the feeling that she was being watched and that danger lurked around every corner. And as she spent the day in hiding, the echoes of her stalker's chilling threats ringing in her ears, she couldn't help but wonder if she would ever be free from the nightmare that had consumed her life. Despite changing her phone number and moving to a new apartment, Emily couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Every shadow seemed to hold hidden eyes, every rustle of leaves outside her window a potential threat. The police assured her they were doing everything they could to catch her stalker, but their words offered little comfort in the face of her mounting fear. As Valentine's Day approached, Emily barricaded herself inside her apartment, her heart pounding with dread at the thought of what the day might bring. But when the doorbell rang in the early hours of the morning, she knew her worst fears had come true. With trembling hands, she peered through the peephole, only to come face to face with her stalker, their eyes burning with manic obsession. Terrified and desperate, Emily called the police, her voice trembling as she begged for help. But by the time they arrived, her stalker was long gone, leaving behind only a chilling reminder of the nightmare that had consumed her life. 2. The Abandoned Valentine's Date. For Mark, Valentine's Day was supposed to be a chance to rekindle a flame with his long-lost love, Sarah. After years of separation and regret, he had finally mustered the courage to reach out to her and arrange a romantic rendezvous at their favorite restaurant. But as he sat alone at their designated meeting spot, the minutes ticking by with no sign of Sarah, Mark's heart sank with each passing moment. Had she forgotten? Had she changed her mind? Or worse, had something terrible happened to her? Frantic with worry, Mark reached for his phone to call Sarah, only to find that she had blocked his number and vanished without a trace. Desperate for answers, he retraced their steps, scouring the streets in search of any sign of his lost love. But as the night wore on and Valentine's Day came to a close, Mark was forced to confront the painful truth. Sarah was gone, and he was left alone with nothing but his memories and regrets to keep him company. For Mark, the pain of Sarah's disappearance was a constant ache that gnawed at his soul. Every Valentine's Day served as a bitter reminder of what he had lost, a gaping hole in his heart that could never be filled. But this year, as he sat alone in the dimly lit restaurant they had once frequented, the weight of his loneliness threatened to crush him. As the hours passed and the restaurant emptied, Mark's mind drifted back to the last time he had seen Sarah, the look of betrayal in her eyes as she walked out the door and out of his life forever. Had he been too blind to see the signs? Too wrapped up in his own pain to notice her cries for help? Lost in his thoughts, Mark barely noticed the waiter approaching his table, a sympathetic look in his eyes as he cleared away the untouched plates and glasses. But as he turned to leave, Mark caught a glimpse of something glinting in the candlelight, a small heart-shaped pendant lying forgotten on the floor beneath his chair. With trembling hands, Mark picked up the pendant, his heart racing with hope and fear. Could it be a sign from Sarah, a message from beyond the grave? Or was it nothing more than a cruel reminder of what he had lost, a symbol of love turned to dust? 3. The Valentine's Day Massacre. In the quiet suburban neighborhood of Willow Creek, Valentine's Day took a dark and sinister turn when a series of grisly murders rocked the community to its core. The killer, dubbed the Valentine's Day Massacre, targeted couples celebrating the holiday of love, leaving a trail of blood and heartbreak in their wake. As the body count rose and the city descended into panic, Detective James Reynolds found himself facing the most harrowing case of his career. With each new victim, the killer grew bolder, their twisted motives shrouded in mystery and their identity a closely guarded secret. But as Detective Reynolds delved deeper into the investigation, he began to uncover a web of betrayal and jealousy that stretched back decades, revealing a motive far more sinister than he could have ever imagined. As Valentine's Day drew to a close and the killer's identity was finally revealed, Willow Creek breathed a collective sigh of relief, grateful that the nightmare was finally over. But for the families of the victims and the survivors left to pick up the pieces, the scars of the Valentine's Day Massacre would haunt them for the rest of their lives. As Detective Reynolds pieced together the clues, he began to unravel a twisted web of deceit and betrayal that stretched back decades. Behind the facade of suburban bliss lay a dark and sinister world of jealousy and obsession, where love turned to madness and passion to violence. With each new revelation, Detective Reynolds found himself drawn deeper into the heart of darkness, his own sanity hanging by a thread as he struggled to make sense of the senseless carnage that had torn apart so many lives. But as the pieces of the puzzle fell into place, he began to see the truth for what it was: a tale of love and loss, betrayal and redemption, with a twist more shocking than anything he could have ever imagined. Detective Reynolds couldn't help but wonder if there would ever be closure for the families of the victims, or if the scars of the Valentine's Day Massacre would haunt them for the rest of their days. If you liked this video and would like to see more like it, please give it the thumbs up, leave a comment, and click the button to subscribe.